Welcome to the final episode of Marvel's Breakdown, the series where I go over the Easter eggs and references to original Marvel comics in Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross's 1994 series Marvels. Jumping ahead a bit in time, today I will be going over the Marvel's Epilogue, which came out in September 2019. Of course, while there are plenty of non-comics references in these books, such as appearances by bystanders who look a lot like Lois Lane and Clark Kent, here I will only be reviewing the comic-specific references. I would also like to preface this with saying that you do not need to know all of these intricate continuity details in order to appreciate Marvels as a series. I'm only doing this because I find these references to original Marvel comics fascinating. I highly encourage you to read Marvels with or without this knowledge. And with that, let's get started. As is the case with all the issues in this series, the events of Marvel's Epilogue are set in roughly the same time period as the original Marvel comics it references. In the case of Marvel's Epilogue, the events covered are set mostly during the events of X-Men number 98, which was published in April 1976 and released January 20th, 1976, though the actual comic covers the Christmas season, making it likely set around December 1975, with the appearance of Nova later on in the story being a bit of a stretch of the continuity time-wise. Before diving into the issue itself, a quick look at the cover shows Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl, dressed in her evening wear from X-Men number 98, hovering and preparing to blast a Sentinel with her telekinetic powers. At the bottom left corner is Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, getting ready to zap the Sentinel with his eye blast. All of this is taken from the Sentinel's initial attack on the two superheroes at 30 Rockefeller Plaza from X-Men number 98. Page 1 opens with Phil getting asked for a light by Logan, aka Wolverine, in Rockefeller Center around Christmas time. Wolverine is dressed how he is in X-Men number 98, where he and the rest of the X-Men were visiting Rockefeller Center during some downtime. Wolverine asking for a light makes sense, as he actually can be seen smoking in X-Men number 98 shortly after this interaction with Phil would have happened. Wolverine's disbelieving comment that Phil isn't a smoker in panel 4 is due to his heightened senses likely picking up that Phil has lung cancer, a diagnosis he was given in the Marvel sequel series Marvel's Eye of the Camera. This is the health scare Phil mentions in the next panel and is why he hasn't had a cigarette in a year. Phil's health was looking up around this point in Marvel's Eye of the Camera number 3, during which the events of Marvel's Epilogue takes place, but would soon take a turn for the worse and indeed would lead him to smoking again for a time in Marvel's Eye of the Camera number 4. Panel 5 gives a hint of the cameos to come, which are all recreated from X-Men number 98. These include, from left to right, Nick Fury, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, Colossus's short-term girlfriend Betsy Wilford, and Nightcrawler's long-term girlfriend Amanda Sefton. Also, barely visible in the background is a Santa Claus seeking donations, who could be seen in the original issue. Page 2, Panel 1 has Phil mention he's back to work on a new book, which was actually his main focus throughout Marvel's Eye of the Camera, which he hoped would present both the dark and light sides of his so-called Marvels. Phil would ultimately pass away before he was able to complete the book, with his family and former assistant Marcia Hardesty working to finish it following his death. Phil's daughter Jenny points out Dr. Doom ice skating in this panel, asking if he is a friend of Thor's. Dr. Doom can indeed be seen ice skating in Rockefeller Center in the background of X-Men number 98's opening splash page. To the left of Phil's family are Scott Summers and Jean Grey, while similarly, panel 3 has Sean Cassidy, aka Banshee, and Moira McTaggart entering to the family's right. This all leads up to a gigantic splash page that recreates the opening of X-Men number 98 exactly, with all of the X-Men in their civilian identities. From left to right, this has Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler, using an image inducer to disguise himself, Pyotr Rasputin, aka Colossus, Aurora Monroe, aka Storm, Jean Grey, Scott Summers, Logan, Sean Cassidy, and Moira McTaggart. Phil and his daughters take the place of bystanders from the original issue. All the other cameos in the splash page, such as Nick Fury, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, and Dr. Doom, are all from the original comic. Page 4, in addition to having Santa Claus in the background again, has Phil begin to recall recent events in the Marvel Universe from around this point in time. His out-of-town references kick off with the Los Angeles-based Champions, a new superhero team made up of the Angel, Iceman, Black Widow, Hercules, and Ghost Rider, which was formed in Champions number 1, though wouldn't gain a name until Champions number 4, and wouldn't be legitimized until Angel funded the team with his inheritance in Champions number 5. Bill Foster became Black Goliath in Black Goliath number 1, after gaining size-changing abilities in Power Man number 24. His being associated with the Champions in Phil's mind is due to him also being based out of Los Angeles, working at a Stark Enterprises West Coast laboratory. Black Panther fighting the KKK in Georgia is from Jungle Action number 19 to number 21, where he was visiting to help investigate the death of his then romantic partner's sister. Phil's New York references start up in panel 2. The Avengers fighting in Shea Stadium is from their being attacked by Toad disguised as the Stranger during a recruiting drive in Avengers number 137. Their being missing after this isn't exactly an accurate description of events, though the Avengers were shortly out of the public eye, with half the team time-traveling to fight Kang the Conqueror in 1873 in Avengers number 141, and the other half getting trapped in an alternate universe in Avengers number 144. The Fantastic Four fought Crusader, a Uranian Eternal who thought he was Marvel Boy, in Fantastic Four number 164 and number 165. White Tiger's origin occurred in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19, where Hector Ayala came across the discarded tiger amulets from the Sons of the Tiger, which transformed him into White Tiger, who quickly began fighting crime in New York. Luke Cage fighting Mr. Fish while being hired to defend a fleet of trucks is from Power Man number 29. Panel 4 depicts the Sentinel attack on Jean Grey and Scott Summers from this issue's cover from an outside perspective, with Panel 5 showing Jean's telekinetic attack throwing them off their balance. This leads to page 5 and Scott's I-beam blasting one of the Sentinels off of the building, which is from the original comic with the exact same sound effect here too. The Sentinel falling to the street is also from the original comic, as is all of the dialogue in this panel, which continues on to panel 4. This panel also has Sean Cassidy reappear reacting with the exact same words he used in X-Men number 98. His dramatic change in his Banshee costume in panel 5 is also comic accurate. All these one-to-one recreations continue onto page 6, where panel 1 continues Banshee's dialogue from the previous page in an exact replica of his talking to Moira from X-Men number 98. The rest of the dialogue being drowned out in his scream makes sense, as all the rest of it was said while he was flying in the original comic. This flight is recreated on panel 2 of this page, with Logan holding onto his legs. Panels 4 and 5 of this page are an extension of what was originally a one-panel transformation of Storm into her costume in X-Men number 98. This change is more dramatically depicted on page 7, giving Storm a moment to stand dramatically before flying off. However, fly off she does on page 8, just as she does in the original comic. Phil's family bringing up the mutant Maggie in panels 2 and 3 is a reference back to Marvel's number 2, in which they sheltered her in their home. Panel 4 of Storm flying is a recreation of a panel from the original comic, with the man she's going to save dangling from the debris actually being Cyclops. The girl's positive reaction in panel 5 is likely due to this rescue being successful. Page 9 has a Sentinel attack Storm and Cyclops again an event from X-Men number 98, with the exact same sound effect for the Sentinel's blast. Storm blowing the Sentinel away from the building in panel 4 is another exact recreation of a panel from X-Men number 98. This attack grows into a full-on hurricane above Rockefeller Center on page 10, once more from the original comic. Phil's mention of Storm's control over the weather is something Storm herself mentions in the original comic. The reaction dialogue in panel 2 is also from the original comic. Page 11 doesn't have any references, so moving on to page 12 has the hero Nova show up, claiming that he's new. This is accurate, as he in fact hadn't even debuted in comics yet at the time X-Men number 98 was published, though he was being advertised in that issue's Bullpen Bulletin, and would go on to first appear in Nova number 1. The people Nova rescues from being trapped in the restaurant at the top of 30 Rockefeller Plaza on the next page are bystanders who can be seen when the Sentinels first attacked Scott and Jean in X-Men number 98. Pages 14 and 15 are a massive montage of various events from Marvel's and the Marvel Universe at large that Phil was present at. The original presentation of the android Human Torch is from Marvel's number 1, inspired most obviously by its depiction from the saga of the original Human Torch number 1. Namor's black and white television broadcast is from Marvel's number 1 as well, and Marvel Mystery Comics number 9. The giant monster with glowing eyes is Orgo the Unconquerable from Strange Tales number 90, who had traveled to Earth to vanquish it. This depiction of Orgo demolishing a circus is clearly from the cover of Strange Tales number 90, though he did first appear on Earth in a circus inside the comic as well. The group of World War II-era superheroes attacking a Nazi stronghold is from the ending of Marvel's number 1, with all the same heroes present here. Giant Man walking across roofs is obviously from Marvel's number 2 and Avengers number 6, where Phil snapped his photo. The fight between the Hulk and the Thing is from Fantastic Four number 25, with Phil taking the place of one of the bystanders in the background. He was canonically at this fight, as a picture of it turns up in a collection of his photos in Marvel's number 4. Phil getting a drink with the Thing is the only event on this page not from an original comic or Marvel source. Though this was originally going to be part of the Marvel's narrative in its original proposals, planned to take place around the time of Alicia Masters' exhibit in Marvel's number 2. Behind the two can be seen Phil's friend Iggy and Daily Bugle publisher J. Jonah Jameson. The Glowing Galactus is from Marvel's number 3 and Fantastic Four number 50, while Spider-Man on the George Washington Bridge preparing to fire his web at an unseen Gwen Stacy is from Marvel's number 4 and Amazing Spider-Man number 121. The Sentinels flying through the sky are from Marvel's number 2 and X-Men number 14. The conference where the new Avengers team of Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Hawkeye are introduced is from Marvel's number 2 and Avengers number 16. Phil is revealed here to be one of the photographers from the original comic. Finally, Phil taking a photo of a giant unconscious Yellow Jacket is from Marvel's Eye of the Camera number 3 and Avengers number 140, where Yellow Jacket was stuck continually growing until he was cured by the new Avenger Beast. In the corner of this event is Phil's workmate, Fred, reacting to the situation. And, since page 16 doesn't have any references, that's that! Every reference I was able to find to the original Marvel Comics in Marvel's Epilogue. Thanks for joining me throughout this series, and, one last time, let me know if you spotted any references I missed.